Hey, welcome back to Ask Allison. Here is today's question. Can you talk about how to, or even whether one should, go about negotiating how much they're paying in overhead fees as a contractor in a group practice? I've been part of a group practice for a short period of time, only working a few hours a week as I still hold my job in public health. Moving forward, I'd like to dedicate more time to private practice and reduce my days in my other job, but I feel the overhead I'm paying right now, 40%, is not very enticing to leave a secure government job. COVID has put a big hold on my timeline for this move, but I want to be prepared for when the state of the world is more balanced and I'm more established there as a consistent therapist with a good retention rate. So thank you to TherapyNotes for sponsoring us today. So I really appreciate this question a lot. Having been on both sides of this scenario as a former group practice clinician and now a group practice owner, anytime we think about renegotiating or negotiating, we need to consider what the other person would want or need. So one big thing I want to clarify, because it comes up a lot in Facebook groups, is this piece around how expensive it is to be in a group practice. 40% absolutely feels like a lot. That's because it's really expensive to own a group practice. So the profit margin, meaning the amount of money that's left over after paying the clinician and the expenses of the practice, is actually a lot smaller than I think most of us expect or imagine. So depending on the setup of the practice, it may actually be costing the owner to have you pay, or to have you as a part-time person. Remember that the group practice owners can't do the business of running the group practice and maintaining a full-time caseload. And many of them have administrative staff that don't necessarily bring in money, though they certainly help it flow. So while you wouldn't spend 40% of your income to maintain a solo practice, your 40% goes towards, the 40% you contribute goes towards the salary of the owner, the salary of any admin staff, the very high overhead of all those offices that your person's probably still having to pay even if you guys are remote, the higher utility bills. I know when I was working for a group, I thought the owner must just be like lining his pockets with cash because I didn't know what I didn't know. And many group practice owners actually make much less than they did when they were in solo practice. And work many more hours than they were working for the first few years. So I put that out there just as like information you may not have had. All that to say, would you make more working for this group with a full caseload than you're doing in your current full-time job? Don't forget the change in your tax situation, because this is you're a contractor, so you're paying self-employment taxes, which you're not doing with your other job. And those taxes are higher, obviously. So if you would make more while working less, it may be that what you start doing is saving all the money you're making at the group practice so that when you decide to take the leap, you have a cushion. If the practice is established, you can also ask the owner how many new clients you would be given each week so that you can see how long that money needs to stretch. That should absolutely be data that, if it's an established practice, the owner should be able to kind of give you an estimate for that. Remember that the more you make, the more it brings into the practice, so that is a win-win. If you're wanting a full-time practice with them, then you may have that as leverage for negotiation, absolutely. But remember that they may have clinicians who've been working for them for years with full caseloads who are on that 60-40 split, and it might not be something they're willing to do. So from a group practice owner's perspective, they're certainly incentivized for you to want to work more hours for them. But what you've been doing so far hasn't been doing much except maybe paying for everybody's EHR. I'm also going to put it out there because, of course, I am. Have you considered your own private practice? Your overhead would be lower and steady, no matter how many clients you see. So your income raises exponentially as you see more clients, but your overhead doesn't necessarily. You're almost guaranteed to take home much more money and work fewer hours. So I'm just putting that out there. If you decide that that's the path you want to take, then we've got your back over in the Abundance Party. It teaches you everything you need to know. It's only $49 a month, so it's something that people in this in-between position can often make work. Yeah, so you can check that out over at abundanceparty.com. If you have questions for me over for Ask Allison, then please shoot me a DM over on Instagram. I'm abundance_practice_building over there. And that's all I got for you. I hope that's helpful. Bye.